Hello everyone, welcome back to another Bold BA webinar. In this webinar, we are going to look into user-based data access in Bold BA dashboards. Often, when you create dashboards, you might like to restrict data access based on the logged in user. For example, it could be an organization dashboard where the user might only be allowed to see the KPIs for his department or his role. Another example could be a sales dashboard where the sales managers may like to get insights of only their sales region rather than the entire data. With Bold BI, you can create a single dashboard that can be shared with many users, with each user viewing only the data that they have permission to. This could reduce a lot of deployment time since you don't have to create individual dashboards for every user, and you don't have to fine tune every dashboard for all the users who are going to look into it. In Bold BI, this can be achieved in two different ways based upon how you store the data. The first option is the row level security. In case if you have all the data in a single database and they are isolated on a row level with an isolation code, you can go with the user based filter. This is a straightforward use case and a much simpler and easiest way to achieve. The second option could come in when you are working for different clients and all their data are different, stored in different databases in different premises, and you mainly would try to reduce a lot of time by creating a single dashboard that would serve all their clients. And so we provide an option to dynamically switch the connection string based upon the logged in user. So this way you have a single dashboard or a group of dashboards that's going to serve for each of your clients. The only thing is when they log into the application or when they embed when you embed the dashboard in an application, and when they log in, they're going to see only the data for them by just switching the connection based on the logged in user. I'm going to explain in detail about both these use cases. And remember, when you dynamically switch the connections, the schema has to be same for all those databases to preserve the content in the dashboard. Uh, the usage could be a very straightforward, like logging into Bold BI and viewing the dashboards, or even if you embed those dashboards in your SaaS application or anywhere, you can provide the user context and so that the data is secured and the user have access to only their data that is meant to be. Okay, and let's see both these options one by one. First, I would like to go with the row level security. With row level security, as I said before, you have all the data in a single database, and the records are isolated using an isolation code for every user. In Bold BI application, we have a straight option to just map the user and the values or the isolation code so that when they log in and view the dashboard, those records are filtered for them, and it will be aggregated and displayed in all the key performance indicators that they have in the dashboard. We also have an option to automap the permission for users and their values using a permission table or a custom query, so that if in case if you have a very large number of users, you don't have to manually map the values every time, and it could be a tedious process on a large scale. So we have an auto map option from a table. And finally, we also have an option to impersonate users when you build a dashboard. In case when you build a dashboard and you'd like to see how it is going to look like for, say, client A, you can just impersonate them and take a look into how it is going to be displayed for them. And let's see this in action in the application. Before going into the application, I'll just show you a simple example on how a role level secured data would look like. So this is a simple table. As you see here, I have two users who could be a sales representatives. John here is looking into sales for all the United States region, and Adam is looking into rest of the countries. So when I create a dashboard for them, uh, when John logs in, he has to see only the data that is meant for United States. So you don't, so that it will be easy for him to look into the key performance indicators there and look look into what needs to be improved or what's actually going on. And instead of just going to drill down and see for a particular region, when he logs in, if the data is already there, it's going to be straightforward for him. And likewise, when Adam logs in, if the data is only filtered for the rest of the world other than United States, it will be straightforward for that particular user. Okay. In our example, I already have a dashboard, as you see here. It is an organizational dashboard, and a dashboard that a top level manager would be utilizing. It contains the details of the employees there, their salary ranges, the employees count, and their years of experience, and everything. And as you can see, we have a list of departments within that uh, organization, and there will be a manager for each of these departments. Let's say a manager, um, who Adams, who's going to take care of technical stuffs there in the organization. So he would need to have access to his own departments like customer success, customer support, marketing, research and development, and so on. Whereas someone who is an operational manager uh, need to have access about accounting, administration, and finance, so on. So what we are going to do now is I have two different users in my application. I'm going to do first, let's see the row level access, row level security using the user based filters, and see how the data is going to be secured for each one of them. Okay. I'll go forward and edit this dashboard. So in case if you have the edit permission for any dashboard, you'll be able to see the edit icon here. You just click them, it will open the dashboard in the designer. So the dashboard is being loaded in the designer. And for this dashboard, I make use of a data source. So if you look into the data source panel at the right side, you could see the data sources that are being used for the dashboard. And right now I have one dashboard, one data source from which this dashboard is being built. So I can go ahead and edit this data source. The user-based filter, in case if you are a user from the classic dashboard platform, we had the user-based filter on a dashboard level previously. So for every dashboard, you need to configure the user-based filters. And right now, for the better usability, we have moved this user-based filters to the data source, so that when you make use of this data source in any dashboard, the user-based filter is already going to be there for them, and you don't have to redo it every time. So this is going to be easy even when you share the data sources with anyone. Okay, so I'll just click the edit button. This will take you to the data transformation layer, or we also call it as the data source designer. So I can see the tables that I have made use of. Or the left side, you could see the schema, and if I enable the data preview, you could see the details in the grid, top 100 records in the grid. Okay, so now the user-based filter is now included along with the filter option in the data source here. So we have two options now: query filter, which is basically used to filter a subset of data with certain conditions, and at the bottom we have the user-based filters. So as I said before, when you save the data source, the user-based filter is going to be uh, there even when you share or use this data source anywhere else. So let's go ahead and configure the user filters. Okay. So we have three different options: manual, data source, and query. So manual use case comes when you have only a fixed set of users or for a very small use case. Okay. And over the left side, you could see the list of users in the application. So it will be just enabled when you choose a column. So in our data source, we are going to apply permission based upon the department. Okay. I'm just going to take the first two users here. I have a number of users already added in my application, and also I have a group. So we're just going to consider the first two users, Andrew and Bugs. So for Andrew is going to be the technical manager. I was going to take care of the customer success, customer support, uh, information technology, marketing, research and development, and sales. On the other hand, Bugs is the operational manager who is going to take care of accounting, administration, finance, human resources, and sales. Okay, so let's leave it like this. Okay, so I just made a manual mapping, and I can save this. So when I save this, the rows are going to be filtered for this particular user. So for example, all the administration and finance related records are going to be filtered for Bugs, and Andrew is going to have only the records related to the technical development, that is research and development, and so on, filtered for. Okay, so you can also add multiple columns in case if you have to filter based upon multiple columns, you can just add another filter and add another column, and so that this will do an AND operation for the columns that you have selected, and the data will be filtered. Okay, so now let's close this and save the dashboard. So let me close this data source panel. And when you preview the dashboard, you have this option to impersonate any user and see how the dashboard is going to look for them. Let me click the preview button. So now this dashboard is what is going to look like for an administrator. But when we choose a particular user, say Andrew, it's going to filter only that particular departments that we have chosen for him and show the metrics for that particular data. And likewise for the other user who we configure. So you could see the departments are being filtered when we chose the other user. So what about the other users for whom we have not configured anything? So when we configured the user-based mapping, we just configured for Andrew and Bugs. We didn't do any mapping for the other users. So what is the dashboard going to look like when they log in and take a look into the dashboard? So the answer would be they won't be able to see any data in the dashboard unless we explicitly mention that they should see anything, right? So if we go back to the configuration panel, you could see an option at the bottom that says show all data for unmapped users and groups. So unless this is enabled, all the other users in the application, when they view or log in and view the dashboard, they'll just be seeing a message, no data to display. So so we completely restrict the data for them. They will not be able to see anything. So if we just enable this option here, then they'll be able to see all the data, unlike Andrew and Bugs, for whom we have filtered. So this is the first option, that is the row level security using user-based filters. But as I said before, the manual process is going to be a bit tedious in case if you have a large number of users and groups, and you have to manually map the values for them. Often in an organization, there will be new users coming in, and there will be users who will be going out, and also the permissions could also change based upon an organization restructure or something like that. Okay? So it's going to be tedious if every time there is a change, you have to re-edit the dashboard and change those mappings. So instead, we have an option to auto-map the permission if you have a permission table. So this can be done using a data source or the query option. So I have a simple Excel file that I will show you now, which is just a permission table. Over the left side, I have the username, Andrew and Burks, whom we configured before. And over the right side, I have the schema or permission details for them, like whatever the department they have access to. So all those details are available here. So I can just import this Excel file into the permission into the data source and configure the permission for each user automatically. Even you can have this permission table in your SQL Server where whenever there is a change in the permission, you can just edit do those modifications in the SQL Server there, and it will be automatically reflected into your dashboard, and you don't have to reconfigure or re-edit the dashboard. Let me show you how this has to be done. So first of all, it could be anything, like the source could be anything like an Excel file, SQL Server, or REST API. You just need to create a new data source from it. So I have already created a data source for that. So let me take you to the data source panel here. So I have a number of data sources in my applications here. So this is the permission data source that I have created from the Excel file that I showed you now. So let us take a look into the data. So you could, in the menu, if you click the preview data option, it will show you what it is, the preview of 100 records of your data. Okay, so I just imported it the same from the Excel file that I showed you before. So to create a new data source, if you are a new Bolt BI user, to create a new data source, all you have to do is just click the create data source button, choose your preferred connection like Excel, SQL Server, or whatever, where you have the data, and there will be a connection wizard which will take you from there, and then you can save the data source. Okay, let's go back to the data source that we worked before. So I'll remove this manual filter that we applied, so I can just delete it. Yes, I want to delete the filter. Now, all you need to do is switch to the data source option. And over the left side, it will display all the data sources that you have in the application. These data sources could either be prepared by you or created by you or shared from another user. So all those, whatever data sources that you have permission, will be listed out in the left panel here. So this is the data source that we created. So I'll just select it. Okay, the identity could be a username or email. So in our case, we made use of the username. So I'll just go for the full name option. And in the data source, it is the username field. So I'll select it. Okay. So now we are going to map using the department. So so it is going to be the department field in our current data source, and this is the field in the permission table that we have. So we'll just enable this, and even if you have several such conditions or fields, like for example, if you have a region-based dashboard, you may need to add a filter based upon country, state, city, so on. So you can just map all those fields here. They'll be listed on whatever field you have in the permission table will be listed on here. You just need to choose the mapping table from the current data source on the right side, and just check this option here. Okay, so let's click the preview. It will show you the permission table. Okay, now we can save this and save this data source as well. Again, let's switch to the preview mode, and let's see how the dashboard is going to look like for Andrew and Bugs. Okay, you could see the departments are filtered for them from the permission table that we had already. Okay, so they'll not have access to any other departments other than the one that is mentioned for. Okay, so that's how you do the user-based filter. And finally, we have the option to configure from a custom query. So the custom query option is very similar to the data source, except that if you want to add a query from the data source that you have, you can just switch to the query mode here, and choose the data source that you want and add the custom query here, custom SQL query here. Okay. So when you add the custom query, it is going to show the resultant columns here, and likewise how we did before, we can just map the columns with the current data source from the permission table. So let me switch back to the data source option. Set the user type, identity type, and save. Okay. So now that we have seen the user-based filter option, so this could also be used when you embed the dashboards in an external application. Like you'll have your own authentication and authorization in your application. Let's see how to make use of that authorization and load the user-specific data when you embed a dashboard, or when the user logs in and take a look into the dashboard in your application, how the dashboard is going to look like. So all those things, let's see. So if you have already been using the embedding part of Bolt BA, so this is just an overview or a recap. So Bolt BA have two different options for embedding dashboards in applications. First one is the simplest way, using an iframe. So you can just get the link of any dashboard. So when you publish the dashboard, you can just get the link of the dashboard and embed it. So to do that, you can go to the share option here and just click the get embed code. So this will give you the iframe for embedding. You can include it anywhere in your web application and then embed the dashboard. Okay. The second option is using the JavaScript component that we provide. So this comes as a part of the Bolt BA embedded variation of the product. So we have three different variations: Bolt BA Cloud, Bolt BA Enterprise, and Bolt BA Embedded. So along with the Bolt BA embedded product, we also ship the JavaScript component for embedding the dashboards and applications. So that's what I have made use of here in the sample that I'm showing now. So this is a very simple MVC application, and you could see the HTML here. So the embedded BA wrapper also is available in CDN, and we also, as I said before, when you install the Bolt BA embedded, it will also be shipped to you. You can also refer the script from the CDN that we have. And so to embed the dashboard in your application, you just need to include the render dashboard function, as you see here, which just includes the ID of your dashboard and how it's going to be embedded here. Okay, so the important part is the authorization server, as you see here. How so authorization has to be done for the users who log into your application, and let's see how this is done. Okay. So for embedding any dashboard, you just need to pass on the authorization URL, which basically contains the user identification, such as a name or email ID, and also a signature, which is calculated as from the hash of the embedded secret and the username. So let's see where we get the embed secret from. So when you get the application, when you go to the application and within the settings panel, you could see an option tab known as embed. Okay. And here you have the option to enable the authentication, embed authentication, and you could just copy the embed secret from here. So the embed secret is meant for a secured way to display the dashboard in your application. So as I said before, the authorization URL has to be built, which basically contains the user identity, such as an user email or a username, and a signature, which is calculated using a hash from the embed secret and your mail ID. So when you send this request URL or authorization URL, in the server, we'll redo this hash and make sure uh, the signature in the URL matches the one that we calculated. So that's how the security works there. Okay, and So here in my application, so I already have both the users that we configured before. So let me run this. And as you could see, I have just supplied the identity name of the user who logs in my application. Let me run the sample. Okay, you can see now the data is filtered for the particular user. And let me log off and sign in as a different user. You can see the data is now being changed for the other user Berks who logged in. Okay. Okay. So this is about row level security and how do you do user-based data access in both the server use case as well as the embedded use case. So the next usage is dynamic connection string. So when you build dashboards and if you want to switch the connection string based upon the logged in user, you can make use of this feature that we support. This can be used both in the embedding and direct server use case. And you could also reuse the same dashboard for multiple clients. Okay. Let's see how this can be done in the same dashboard that we prepared. Okay. So let me edit the dashboard. So the dynamic connection string has to be configured when you prepare the data source, or even after preparing the data source, you can just configure it in the connection wizard by just clicking the edit connection option. Okay. So for any SQL Server connections, you'll be able to see the option dynamic connection string at the bottom. Okay. So you just need to enable this. And when you enable, you'll get an option to configure the dynamic connection string. So if you just click the configure option, so it'll show you a template as you see here. So for the dynamic connection string, basically you will need a user identity and their connection string details such as the server name and the credentials and even the database name. Okay, so you need to prepare or host a web API which returns these details for every user. Okay, so the documentation, there is a documentation that explains these things completely, and also how the API response looks like, including the for every user how the data source details or the connection string details has to be returned. All these details are available in this documentation page that we will share, and you just need to prepare a service that returns these details through a REST API. Okay, so I will show you a simple web service that I have created. So this is the web service, and as you could see, for the identity Andrew, I'll return the response, which is just going to be a connection details for a SQL Server, sample SQL Server, and it refers to a database here. And for the other user, I'll be having a different database. So you just need to prepare a web service which would return the connection details for every user based upon their identity. It could be either a user full name or an email address. Okay, so I have already hosted this web service in cloud, and I have the URL for this web service. I'm just going to make use of that service to configure the dynamic connection string. So I'll go back to the application. Okay, so I have the URL. I'll just copy it. And paste it into the URL. So you could also add a parameterized URL in case required. So you just need to configure the mode. It could be an embedding server or both. Okay, just choose this, and the identity has to be mentioned if we are going to identify the user through email or the full name. So in our web service that I showed before, I'm just making use of the email address. So I'm going to use the same here and choose the identity as email, which is selected by default. Okay, so now let me save this. Okay, and so every time when you edit a connection wizard, you need to send in the password for security. So I'll just copy the password here, choose the live connection, and click reconnect. Okay, so now you could see the data source is successfully configured. So based upon the logged in user, now the connection is going to dynamically switch, and it could even be a completely different server or just a different database in the same server. The connection is going to switch, and the appropriate dashboard or appropriate data will be loaded for them in the dashboard. Okay. Let me also remove the user base filter that we configured before. So I'll just remove this and save the data source. And I can publish this dashboard. So again, in the embedding scenario, there is nothing going to be changed. It is going to be the same same use case that we prepared before. You just need to pass in the user contacts or through their identity or email, and along with the signature. So when you send this request URL, the user will be identified and their connection will be switched based upon the details that we provided in the API response. Okay, let's go back to the application, embedded application, and let me refresh this. You could see the data is now changed from the database. The data is being loaded from the dynamic data connection that we have given. Let me log off and log in as a different user. Okay, you could see the data is changed or loaded from the other data source that is specifically given for Andrew, and his own departments are loaded in the dashboard. Okay. So this is how you perform a dynamic connection string in the application. So all these details are available in the documentation. So if you go to the dynamic connection string section, the documentation, there will be complete details of it. And also if you want to refer to the user base or the user base filters that we did before, you could also refer these details. For users who are new to this embedding, so we also have documentation about embedding, which has complete details about how the authorization works and how you can impersonate users when you embed the application, all those details, and the supported uh, authentications, everything are listed here. And you could also see some samples for ASP.NET Core, MVC, and Angular. And of course, the component supports all the popular frameworks like React. So you could just make use of them and embed dashboards in your application. And I hope this demo and webinar provided a good insight about how you could just switch connections or provide a user-based access based on logged in user, and reduce a lot of time by just preparing one template dashboard that would serve all. Thank you everyone for your time and looking into it. See you until another webinar with a different topic.